Hey all, Chris here with part 2 of my Santone Lures Rayburn Swim Jig test with different trailers. First setup I got is a Zoom creepy crawler that's rigged sideways to give more of a bait fish profile, and I'll see how it looks kind of bouncing on the bottom and swimming in the water. This one isn't really a bottom bouncer because it just wants to lay flat. But on the swim, it's got a really nice kick and would give a really nice bait fish profile. So you could kind of burn it back to the boat and kind of imitate a fleeing bait fish. Second combo I got here is on a 3/16 ounce jig, also on a Santone Rayburn Swim Jig. It's kind of a more standard rigging of a double-tail grub. It's kind of a generic double-tail grub I found in my box, and we'll see how this one bounces along the bottom and how it swims. This one bounces along the bottom pretty good. It'll still fall over, but in a pinch it could be used as a good crayfish imitation, and it has a nice action on the retrieve with the swim. Now the next bait we got, this will be on a 7/16 ounce Rayburn Swim Jig. Got a medium zoom brush hog. A little bit not quite your standard, but does give a really nice action on the swim, and it also works really good on a bounce on the bottom. It's kind of unlike the pocket craw, which I've had a lot of luck with, which has a similar action, a little bit more of a crayfish imitation on the bounce, but the pocket craw takes a lot of speed to get the claws going. Whereas this bait, you can really get those twin tails going at a reasonably slow retrieve. So this would be kind of a nice in-between finesse bait. And it's got a real nice small profile too, so it'll really cut through some weeds or some matting on the surface. Now, with a little bit of an oddball, just figured I'd try a Berkley power worm and see how that looks on the drop, see if that'll it mostly falls over, but the retrieve here, make sure I have it in view, does have a lot of tail movement, but it's more of a subtle tail movement. It doesn't really seem to kick a lot of water like a standard boot tail would, but this would be a nice finesse presentation. It's got a real small profile, something I'll definitely give a shot next year. First swim bait I got here is a Zoom Swimmin Fluke. See how that looks in the water. This actually looks really good. It gets the tail gets going, and it actually gets the whole jig moving, so you get a lot of vibration not only with the boot tail, but it gets the jig, gets that side to side. Doesn't have a huge roll, but it's got a nice roll. Now we got the Reaction Innovations beaver, again on a 3/16 ounce swim bait head. See how this looks in the water. At least to my eyes, the skinny dipper seems to have a much more aggressive wobble than the Zoom Swimmin Fluke. So I would say the Skinny Dipper would be a little bit more aggressive bait than the Zoom Swimmin Fluke. Now this bait right here is the biggest surprise of the whole test. It's a Gary Yamamoto Swim Senko, which the way I've always fished it, I've treated it as a finesse bait. But when you get it in the water, this has the most aggressive tail kick and wobbling motion, including tail, jig, of the 3 baits tested here. This actually looks like an excellent setup when the fish are really aggressive. And this will be one I throw a lot. I did cut off about 1 inch just to get the tail length right. This actually looks like a great bait. So yeah, hope this helps you all, and tight lines.